Alright, so we managed to walk out of hell. We're still doing credits here, folks. We get it. You really like your credits. So here's our Asura. We get to wear the cloak, which is kind of cool. I don't have camera control. I can't do anything but walk. So we're now like over an hour into the game. And yeah, we're still getting credits. It's a cinematic game, you see. Old friends, newer enemies. It's weird that his eyes are taken like an orangey tint. Seems kind of random. They're running from the polar vortex too. You've got to stop the weather from getting in. Maybe it's Gohma, I'm not sure. They say the same things a lot, don't they? It's salty. Okay, it's just a couple of apes, howlers. So yeah, these are the enemy types that take control of animals, and I really, really hate them. They're not particularly fun to fight. I can barely hear him. I'd much rather fight these things by not fighting them. I'd much rather just have a cutsy QTE, really. I think one of the problems is just the way that where the camera is placed. Again, it's not. I was kind of hoping, like, again, for it to be more Devil May Cry style, where I had complete combat awareness of everywhere I was, and just have the camera placed a little bit higher. That would have made all the difference. And that frame rate, yeah, this is how it ran. It's super great. Max loves this game. I'm being a little dramatic. The Septitrition. Oh, jeez. Okay, these little guys. Not the most intimidating. And that's just a jobber, this guy. He's not even like a demigod.
Back from the dead.
Rashol.
Demigod Asura. We shall send you back to the shadows of death.
Why would you think you guys have a chance? But it's interesting they were just able to home in on Asura, like he's here right now. So let's just fight him. I don't know if Asura has like a tracking device or anything like that. I'm gonna assume he doesn't, but who knows? So one thing a lot of people know about CyberConnect is that gameplay is not really their strong suit. It's not what they like about games. What they like about games is making it cinematic, and it's one of those things about the combat that I think carries over to this, certainly. That actually, you know, controlling Asura feels a little janky. It just doesn't feel very tight. But all the cinematics and the visceralness of punching things and just all the camera work is really cool. I almost feel like someone at Capcom was like, no, you gotta put a bit of gameplay in there. And they're like, ah, oh, really? That's not our thing.
Prepare for purification.
Purify.
All ships, release fire.
But there's people down there. Okay. Didn't even hurt me. Okay, we got these big boys.
Lucky turn to find the traitor.
Tyson. Mike Tyson. So I'm not sure if he has invincibility frames there. Maybe he does. Because I used my heart attack there, but I'm not sure how much he actually took damage from it. There you go. I think that was a dick punch. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it was. I hope. And now we will end the battle by pressing RT. What you got? Right. The elephant Gohma. He's not that big of on impurity. Only 680. God, if I recall, these elephants are such a pain in the ass to kill. Okay. Good thing he killed it for us. I'm glad we didn't have to do it ourselves. So, there's a problem with this boss. In terms of the actual one-on-one fight with him and Asura, and its placement in the story.
No soul shall fall into the hands of the Gohma.
That's a cool shot.
What Lord Deus spoke of.
Deus, okay.
It has been a while, traitor.
But it's like, again, I don't know which of the demigods. See, that's a good time for this to cut in. I don't know which demigods actually knew that Deus was like, oh, I guess we betrayed Asura and he didn't actually do anything. Or if this guy knows, because he wasn't there for that conversation where Deus spoke out loud and said, "Yeah, I had to do what had to be done."
I never actually thought you would be foolish enough to come.
Do you think it's a bad sign that I came back from hell?
Do not tell me you have forgotten everything.
I can't be guilty if I don't remember.
How could you forget the great Wyzen?
Yeah, I forgot you.
Open your eyes, traitor! Kneel before one of the 7 deities!
The 7 deities.
Who? What are you? I've never heard of you guys.
The 8 guardian generals who knew only war are no more!
There's such a thing as too much animation. Now, shut Wyzen up. This is one of those features of Asura's Wrath. I thought, like, that's pretty good.
We have become gods!
That was a good time to do it, I think. You talk too much. You never shut up.
Your ears have become so sullied that you cannot even comprehend words of purity.
What does that mean, Wyzen? No, I'm the guy that has wrath. Just punch your dick until you like it. Okay, I forgot to... Time to burst. Did you see he auto-tracked over all the way over to him? Oh, I almost didn't do it. So remember I said I had a problem with this boss fight. Not this part. This part's, you know, fine. Yeah, this is the part. Now, I think this is also one of the demos of Asura's Wrath had this fight in it. This portion of it, at least, maybe. So this is kind of where the game's pacing kind of takes a weird turn.
Speechless are you? While you had slumbered for 12,000 years.
wasn't sleeping. I was stuck in hell.
Witness the power bestowed upon us by our priestess, your very daughter, Mithra!
Stop giving me all these memories back. I'm just gonna use them.
My daughter. Mithra's power.
And it's kind of weird because this game came out in around the same time as Darksiders, and Liam O'Brien just basically does the same voice for both.
You will have to make me.
Again, that's another good camera cut. So the problem with this Wyzen fight is that this is so big and has such an enormity of this fight. Like it's so epic in terms of its scale. Damn. Anyway, that I feel its place in the story is way too early. I'd rather start off a little bit smaller than this, because then there's fights later that are not as big or as cool as this. And that escalation, it's like I always use Gurren Lagann as like an example of this. It's like that goes in a logical format of small fights to bigger fights to the biggest fights possible, whereas Asura's Wrath doesn't give a shit and just does everything, and it brings the story down where you're fighting people that are not nearly as intimidating as this. And I get that Wyzen's like a big, huge, fat guy or whatever, and like he thinks this form is intimidating, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's just all window dressing, but it's still, from a narrative standpoint, just doesn't work for me. All right, so we have another one of these things. We're gonna meet in the Shinto chamber, the meeting chamber, the accusing parlor. It seems Asura has returned to this world. Wasn't expecting that. You don't say. Preposterous. That's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Do the invisible. Silence. He is nothing but a speck of dust in the past. Could this not at least be voice acted? No? Our power then was nothing compared to what we are capable of now. To think that there was a time where we had actually exert effort to purify one large Gohma. Oh, how pitiful we all once were. How shall we proceed, my lord? If it pleases you, I can depart immediately to purify him. I've already sent Wyzen. Let him take care of our old friend. I can imagine the look on Asura's face now. He hasn't the slightest idea how powerless he is against us. So we're all really cool with just, you know, without any real evidence or whatever, condemning Asura forever. Ha ha ha, I think you'd be surprised. Like, even his master is like, yeah, it was Asura for sure. Explain. There are no guarantees in battle. Nothing is impossible. Ha 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 ha. And Yash is just like, whatever.
Now one of the self-proclaimed 7 deities. Wyzen is intent on sending Asura back to Naraka. His power is more terrible and fearsome than when he served as one of the 8 Guardian Generals. His power threatens to crush Asura.
And I guess you can make the argument that maybe this trial, this like fight, has such epicness to it to test Asura very early on, but I don't think that makes it good. I you know, maybe giving this form to August or some other guy would work, because we haven't even seen the crazy shit yet. I also like how his, well, not like, but I also want to make note how Wyzen's voice sounds the same as if he was small and right next to us, rather than he's just giant now.
Tell me what you've done with her! You will have to make me.
Like, there's no booming echo or voice modulation, it's just the same. You do get this nice big open battlefield though, which is cool. At least this gives the proper scale to everything. There should be birds. So this was the bit of the demo I saw where I'm like, holy shit, this is the game? Oh no. Yeah. And there's really something to be said about a narrative like game like this that has a lot of button prompts and whatever, and it's just that, like taking the Telltale or David Cage sort of mold and make it into an action game. That sounds cool to me. I hope someday a really awesome game like that'll get made. Because for this being on the 360 of that generation and the PS3 of that generation of consoles, like, it's a decent attempt to make something, but like we'll explore later, I kind of think it doesn't quite nail it from a variety of standpoints. Like, imagine you're playing Heavy Rain or a Telltale game and suddenly you have to like play a fighting game for a little bit. Or something that requires a lot of actual button prompts and inputs. Like, it feels so out of place, and that's what the combat sections of this game feel like. It feels like they were tacked on, like Capcom like mandated, like, yeah, you gotta put this in the game, dude. And they're like, but we're not good at it. Like, it doesn't matter, you gotta put it in there. End the fight. Or not quite over yet, but... Oh, I wasn't an excellent... Whoa! Oh, I really fudged that one up. I suppose if you just get them, it's still fine, but... Yo, that's the move I would love to do to someone. At least once. Did it to Liam that one time, but he dodged it. Yeah, I remember one of these shots being really cool of him getting, smash into the earth. Yeah, that's cool.
Can you feel it? She suffers to atone for your sins and to bring about the Great Reaver.
Let's let one of these play out, see what happens.
Such a tragedy. If you care for your daughter, then kneel before me. You are no longer a demigod.
I saw my demigod patch.
Nothing more than a traitor.
Okay, I didn't actually do it. So does that run out? Oh, it doesn't really matter. I just burst out anyway. And this part's cool. All the arms coming out to push him away. Like, one thing I'll say about Asura is that he should have been in a versus fighting game by now. Alright, I think this is going to be another shooting section, maybe? Oh, I can shoot the ship for whatever reason. I kind of wanted to grab one of these missiles, but I don't know when I'm allowed to. Alright, I'll just burst. And like, there's lots of innocent guys that work on that Star Destroyer. And he's like, shit! Yeah, it's like he was trying to do the prompt too. Ooh. Oh! And burst it out whenever you don't know what to do. Yeah, that's cool. Orbital punch! But don't worry, I have 6 little baby arms. That amounts to your giant arm. And just burst. It should be like the burst button should just be anger or wrath. Or my wife button. Or daughter. And it's like, I don't know exactly what makes Asura so powerful here. Just talking about his wife or his kid just is the only thing that seems to do it. And he just dies in space.
A mere monkey like you can defeat a god? Behold, I shall show you our true...
Our final form, I guess.
Mantra reactor! Release! I call upon the power of the mantra!
Like, it's so over the top, but I said before, and I'll say it again, this world really is unique. It's this kind of fusion of, like, mechanical, like, Star Wars space stuff, but then, like, Hindu mythology, and... So yeah, he's quite large now, so you see what I mean about scale?
I'm an absolute being that protects this world and its mortals.
So why just shoot a bunch of bombs at this village? Is it 'cause you're the baddies? Okay, so Wyzen is now a very large boy, but I'm sure we'll be fine in the end. Asura doesn't care. That's the thing I like about him, though. I don't care! And it's great because they don't have to lip sync him anymore. Gongen Wyzen.
Asura the Destructor! You do not belong in this world!
I guess being a super deity lets you see exactly where I am on the Earth. Because I'd lose track. You're gonna crush the entire village that was here, but whatever. So, like, this is something that would be at the end of Gurren Lagann, you know? And putting it here in the story just... Yeah, it's a cool shot. I have to admit that. That's cool, too. That's super cool shot. Are you gonna be tapping B a bunch? That's a big finger, baby. And he's like, "Oh, Nani? How has this not killed him?" How many times, can we get a counter on how many times he thinks about his wife or his child and that powers him up? I think we're on 3 or 4 by now.
Your death shall be the foundation of my new world.
Yeah, see. And I think everything starts exploding. It looks like the Capcom vs. SNK1 intro. Man, I'm mashing that button. He's just churning that butter too. It'd be really great if I hit him and it just says, like, my arm explodes too, and then it just says game over, like you didn't win. And like, if memory serves, I think some bosses, some demigods, you don't even have a real fight with. They just kind of die off screen or something. At least one or two. So yeah, Wyzen's just dead. That was relatively easy. But the scale of this fight, just some fights don't measure up to this in like entertainment value. Some do. August especially does, but then there's other ones that like don't quite match up.
Why are you here, Asura? Do you even...
I don't know, Master Miller.
You have already failed once at living.
Oh. Oh. That feels bad to say to me.
You are a fool. Next time, do not come back.
To be continued. So that's the end of that chapter. We defeated Wyzen. That's our first demigod. I didn't do too good. My battle points are okay. My synchronic rate was okay.